So what is a race anyways? I taught a student who was adopted from China at the age of 1 or 2 years old, and she was adopted by a French-speaking Ontario family. So this little girl looked very, very Chinese. If you would not have spoken to her, you'd swear she was a tourist from China. However, she spoke no Chinese at all, had never been to China, knew nothing of Chinese culture. She literally was a white Canadian. She was culturally Franco-Ontarian. She spoke French, and she, ate Canadian food and blah, blah, blah. Culturally, she was Canadian. So can you tell me in all honesty that this girl is Chinese? Literally, the only thing that's Chinese about her is her look. But the second you go past that superficial attribute, you realize that this little girl is actually Canadian. What is a race then? Look at me, I'm a white guy, obviously. So put me beside a Russian, a Swede, a Swiss guy, and I don't know, a guy from Texas. Are we the same race? Are we the same people? Are we the same clan? Absolutely not. We speak different languages. I've never been to Russia. I've never been to Texas. I've never been to Sweden. I know nothing of these cultures. Though we may look the same before you talk to us, we are not the same people at all. So again, what is a white guy? What makes me a white guy exactly? Why should I take pride or find my identity in my whiteness? It makes absolutely no sense. There are some animals that we do judge according to race, and I think the obvious example here are cats and dogs, especially dogs. We like different races of dogs, but these are kind of created by humanity. But there are other animals, and I would say the vast majority of animals, we don't even care about their race at all. What's the different races of zebras, or hippopotamus, or giraffe? There are very few people in the world that actually know the answer to that, and even less people that give a shit about it. Race in animals doesn't really matter. We look at animals as a species, as a group of species, and yet for humans we don't do that. Basically, race is an outdated belief from our ancestors, that they passed upon us. Our grandfathers and grandmothers and their grandfathers and grandmothers were more racist than we are today. And the reason that is pretty obvious. You're watching me through the internet right now, through YouTube. So I can watch a native from China or a native from Japan or whatever and be completely on board with their beliefs and listen to them as though I'm talking to them now. In the past, when you had no telephones, no internet, no nothing, you couldn't communicate with different races. Your world was much smaller. But now we live in a globalized world, and we're starting to realize that humanity is basically a case of same shit, different pile. That's literally what it is. Basically, the advances in communication have allowed us to accept reality for what it is. Culture is what actually matters here. Yes, not all cultures are the same. Not all cultural practices are the same. I am by no means a racist at all. I don't look at color of skin. What bothers me is the cultural practices of some people. Now, I'm not going to get into detail on that right now, and I'm sure that we all are culturists in a way, but people will say instead that they are racists or that they don't like certain races when that's absolutely not true. Because again, going back to my first example, I've met people of all sorts of different races, of different looks, that subscribe to the same culture, namely American culture. An Indian from India who's following American culture, is he really a native of India or is he an American? Basically, another result of advanced communications and technology is that travel allows us to intermix more, and obviously immigration flows and this kind of stuff. So there is no such thing really as a pure race. The idea of a pure race makes absolutely no sense, really. If I have an ancestry, let's say my great-great-grandfather was black, but you're looking at me and I'm white, at what point did I stop being black? Is it just a look thing, or is it a generational thing? I know different cultures have had different definitions of what, like how you attribute what race that you are, but this is all so stupid. It's just created, like it's pulled out of your ass. Seriously. This makes no sense at all. We need to drop this junk. This is cultural garbage, this race stuff. It has to stop. We are one race, the human race. Oh, I am a racist, all right, because I believe that we are all the same. We are all one race that has one goal, which is to give our children a great life, a life where they can have happiness and smiles and love and food and drinkable water. We all share one earth. That is all that matters. These divisions of black and white and brown and olive and this and that is all bullshit. We need to get over that and accept that we are one species, we are one race, and that is all that matters.